Hello, today I'll be ranking the Disturbed albums, and this was a video that was requested or recommended to me from someone that was in my recent live stream. That person being Casper's Corvette Corner. Thank you, man. So yeah, let's go ahead and dive into it. We'll be going from worst to best. Keep in mind, this is just my personal ranking. You don't have to agree with it, but feel free to let me know your ranking in the comment section below. But yeah, before I get into it, there are a couple CDs that I do have that I won't be showing in this video, so I'll go ahead and show them. I do have the Lost Children compilation, and yeah, pretty cool. You have some deep cuts in this album, or this compilation, and I do really like the song "God of the Mind." That song was from the Valentine soundtrack. If you've seen that movie, you'll know. But yeah, it was a slasher movie that came out during sometime in the early 2000s. You also have a cover of Midlife Crisis, which I don't mind. I like it, but don't love it. I am a big Faith No More fan, though. But I also have this self-titled compilation CD too, which is also kind of cool to have. Got it brand new on eBay. But yeah, let's go ahead and dive into the ranking. So at the bottom, which is probably not going to surprise very many people, it is Evolution. And this album is alright. I remember this album getting fairly mixed reviews from both fans and critics, and I seem to like this album more than some people, but still at the end of the day, it is still their worst though. I mean, Are You Ready is probably the best song on here and definitely one of my favorites easily. The Best Ones Lie is another pretty good song on here. No More is a decent song. Now, when it comes to the ballads, honestly, there's really only one ballad on here that I actually somewhat kind of like. The song Hold On to Memories. I do kind of like that song. A Reason to Fight, ever since that song dropped, I still, to this day, never cared for that song. For me, one of their weaker ballads. Again, that's just my personal opinion, and if you like the song A Reason to Fight, more power to you. Definitely have no issue with that. Just for me, never been a big fan of that song. But yeah, Evolution, a decent album, at least in my opinion, but still easily their worst. But next we have their comeback album, Immortalized. So yeah, I got the deluxe edition that comes with bonus tracks. And this is another album in their discography that I think is just alright. I don't love it as much as some other people or some other fans, but I do overall like the album, but I've never loved it. It's never been one of my personal favorites from the band, but still a good album. Not great or amazing, but good, I'd say. Some of my favorites, The Vengeful One, of course. I do like the title track. The Light is also another pretty good song. But another issue for me with this album is that the replay value just hasn't been that great, at least for me personally. But also, you do have the cover of the Sound of Silence, which I'll admit I think is kind of maybe one of the most overhyped cover songs in rock and metal of all time, potentially. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like the cover, but I don't certainly love it like some people do. Again, I do think that cover is a bit overhyped, but not a bad cover. But yeah, Immortalize, a good album, but nowhere near one of their best, at least in my opinion. But next we have Asylum. And overall, a pretty good album. Not one of my personal favorites, but still a pretty good album. Some of my favorites, Asylum, the title track. I also really like Another Way to Die, which I'd maybe say is one of their best songs. I really love that song, maybe the best of the singles on here. The Animal is another really good song on here, another personal favorite of mine. Serpentine, I think, is kind of an underrated song. But yeah, pretty good album from Disturbed. But next we're going to go ahead and move on to their latest album, Divisive. And yeah, I'm really enjoying this album so far. I'm really liking it a lot. There's really only one song on here that I'd say is somewhat weak. Maybe, well, one or two. But I think Take Back Your Life and Part of Me are probably the weakest songs on here. But those aren't bad songs, though. Take Back Your Life, I really dig the chorus of that song. But yeah, still, I'm still really enjoying this album a lot. They really brought the heavy with this album. And personally, Really digging the album. The next we'll be moving to their fourth album, Indestructible, which is in the number 4 spot. And yeah, this was an album that I had to re-listen to a little bit, or at least certain songs, because it's been a while since I've listened to a good number of the songs on this album, and I'm glad I did. Better than I expected, better than I remembered, was what I was trying to say. But I mean, you have the title track, definitely one of their best songs. You have also Inside the Fire. Deceiver, I think, is maybe one of their most underrated songs. I really like that song a lot. Same with The Curse. Criminal is another really good song on here. Enough is a song that I re-listened to recently because it's been a long time since I've heard that song. I really liked that song. It was really cool to hear that song again. Same with Perfect Insanity. But yeah, really good album from Disturbed. Not their best, but still pretty good Disturbed album. But next we'll be moving to their second album, Believe. An album that I've grown to like more and more with time, and now I think it's one of their best. I mean, maybe one of their more melodic albums, maybe their most melodic, but still, you do have your heavy moments on here, of course, but not as heavy or as intense as some of their other albums, you could say. But you have the song Prayer, which opened up the album, which is easily one of my favorite Disturbed songs, maybe a top 5 Disturbed song for me. I absolutely love that song. But you get some pretty underrated songs on here, like Intoxication. I absolutely love that song. Definitely one of my favorites on here. Remember, when it comes to their singles, I think Remember is kind of an overlooked song a little bit. I really like that song also, especially David Draymond's vocals in that song. But yeah, Mistress is also really good too. We also have the song Liberate, which is definitely one of the highlights on the album. But yeah, really good Disturbed album, and definitely, again, one of my favorites. But next, we'll be moving to the album that started it all, and that is The Sickness. Now, for some people, could be one of those albums where you have a strong first half and a weaker second half, but there are some songs in the second half that have actually grown on me over time, such as Numb and Want. I really like those two songs, especially the song Numb. One of the more softer or more melodic songs on the album, but still, I really like that song a lot. But of course, you do have the big hits on here like Stupefy and Down with the Sickness and Voices. But I think you get some other really good songs like Violence Fetish, another song that I think is really underrated in their discography. I like that song a lot. Dropping Plates is kind of a corny song. David Draymond's rapping sort of in that song, and I mean, I don't mind it. I mean, but you can definitely tell while you're listening to it, you can definitely tell it's of its time. But kind of a goofy, kind of a fun song, but definitely not one of the best songs on here. But I don't mind it though. But yeah, The Sickness, definitely one of their best, at least in my opinion. But now we'll be moving to what I think is their best, and it is 10,000 Fists. And yeah, definitely a really good album. I mean, some of their best work or some of their best songs are definitely on here, like of course the title track Stricken, which I absolutely love the solo in that song. And they also have Just Stop, which is another song that might be one of my favorite Disturbed songs. But some of the lesser known songs on here I think are really good, like Guarded. I really dig the heaviness of that song, such as in the verses. But Sacred Lie is another song that I feel is really underrated and also one of my personal favorites on here. Deify and Sons of Plunder, I'm Alive, those songs are also really good. Also some other highlights on the album for me. But yeah, definitely a really good album from Disturbed, and probably my favorite album from them. So yeah, that is my ranking of the Disturbed albums. There are maybe 1 or 2 albums in here that move around within my ranking. It'll, of course, depend on my mood, but either way, that is my ranking of the Disturbed albums. Let me know your thoughts on my ranking. Let me know your ranking in the comment section below. Let me know favorite or least favorite albums or songs from the band and all that good stuff. But anyways, thanks for watching. Please leave a comment and a like, subscribe. Have a nice day and take care.